I've had quite a few pivots in my career. And the latest pivot that I made, I owned a marketing agency. I hated it. When I started the business, I didn't want it to be an agency. I wanted to just do fractional work. We turned into an agency by accident because we grew so quickly. And I woke up and I was just completely miserable. And I remember asking myself that same question, like this is the path. But it's successful. It's working. I'd be crazy to turn myself away from this. What am I thinking? But my heart was just like yours. I was like, I hate this. I just want to burn it all to the ground, And some people will say oh, she just couldn't hack it, right? There are people that but that's not it. It would have been hard for me to stay, but it was hard to leave, really hard to leave and let go of the security of it and the prestige and the reputation of it all. And to start over, starting over is not easy. It's a lot of work.
When we're depressed, when we're anxious, in our personal lives and our professional lives, our values are misaligned. Mm-hmm. And it takes some really deep, thoughtful excavating to be wait, I say it's this, I say it's prestige, but actually when I'm in front of the wrong room, it doesn't feel right. Is the stress that you're experiencing a good heart or a bad heart right now? And a good heart is I'm growing, it's challenging, but I'm alive from it. A bad heart is, I dread the day. I don't even want to check my, that kind of what you were just describing. So one of my intake questions is I say, what % happy are you where you are? Mm-hmm. And people say, the average person, do you want to guess what they say when they come to me?
Ooh, I would say 30 to 40%.
Yep, it's literally about 30% is the average, 20 to 40%. So 30 is dead center.
Isn't that why are if you look at it that way, why are we accepting that? Hello and welcome to Hello Moxie. I am delighted today to be joined by Rachel Speckman. Rachel is the founder of Made for More Coaching and More. And I'm so excited to have her on the show today and tell our listeners about all the amazing work she's doing, helping support women in their careers. Rachel, how are you today? And tell us a little bit about you and what's lighting you up.
I am well. Thank you for having me. Kicking off the new year in an awesome way together. I'm so happy to be here. Happy 2026, whenever you're listening to this. I always feel like there's this great new year energy, so I want to ride that for as long as we can.
Yeah.
I'm doing great. I'll tell you about myself. So I am Rachel. I am the founder of Made for More Coaching. Mm-hmm. I came from the startup tech world, where I was the director of programming, helped many startups with their operations, with their launch, founding team members, capital raising. And I was doing that for about 7 years until I ended up on a fairly unexpected fertility family planning journey. Mm-hmm. And I like to share this part of the story quite openly because it showed, wow, there is so much more I want to be doing beyond helping companies. I actually want to be helping people because people are really the people who run companies. And so what I ended up doing is I took a hard look at myself when I had my first child and said, I want to do something different. And I ended up going back to school and did a full pivot in my career. And I'm now a private practice therapist, working with people who are in different identity transformation periods, working with couples, individuals, business partners, actually, on all of the emotional things that get in the way of living our most authentic lives. And as I was doing that, many people from the startup world that I knew started kind of recognizing what I was doing and said, oh, I'm a little stuck. Can you help me? I'm a little stuck. Can you help me? And that I always like to share that the name of Made for More Coaching actually came from a client because a client was very stuck in what they were doing. And I said, this is not the right environment for you. This is a toxic workplace. I said, you are made for more. And the client was like, that is the name of your company. It had just been Rachel Speckman Coaching. And so I've been going with that name for about a year now. And it's people like it. It sells itself, which, names really matter. And I actually think there's something cool how I was like, what's the name of my company going to be? What's the name? And I'm like, it'll come to me when it's right? So this kind of dance that we all do with structure and pushing ourselves, but also what's organic and what feels good and what expands us. That's
Yeah.
really where the magic is.
I love that. And I can't say enough about like the name matters. Like, hello, Moxie. I'm telling you, I swear the more I hear this name, say this name, the more I like seriously feel like I have way more Moxie. So it's just like so true that like what the things that we tell ourselves and what we put in our orbit, it does shift the narratives that we have and the actions that we take. But I have like a billion follow-up questions. So one of the questions is I think a lot of women have been in your shoes. They've been in a tech role and they feel, like they're just burnout or they need a change. They're not sure, they want to make that change.
Mhm.
But sometimes they get stuck there. They get stuck in like, I'm not happy, or maybe they can't even label it that. They're not even at that point where they can even say what's wrong. They just feel like something's wrong.
Mhm.
What was the catalyst for you that took you from thinking to actually acting and making such a huge pivot? Because I think a lot of women get stuck like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. I'm going to lose so much,
Mhm.
right? Like there's going to be so much loss. And what if I can't make it? And the uncertainty and the change. What was that catalyst for you?
Okay, so like any good conversation, we're going to circle back to fear if we can, because fear is
Mhm.
huge. And I want to tell you about my association with the word Moxie, if we can at the end. I want to answer your question with what was my catalyst. It was being asked to speak at an international conference for where I was working and realizing I was in the wrong room entirely.
Mm.
That
Mhm.
this opportunity really, from the outside, looked like a dream professional opportunity and was.
Yeah.
And yet, I was more interested in. I went out for coffee with somebody there who connected me to somebody there, and she was at an anthropology conference. And I said, "Tell me all about what you're learning." Oh my gosh, I want to know. And then the real catalyst, beyond that like planted. There was several seeds going on, and then I was watching Moana 1. This was like really right when it came out on the way home. And I'm not kidding you. I was like bawling watching Moana. Okay, you would have thought something
Mm.
was. And I was like, what is going on? I was like, Moana's following her destiny and her dream, and I don't know mine.
Mm. Mhm.
And I say that because I think we really need mirrors, we need windows, we need mirrors, we need other people to show us. And I have people showing me right now, like where I'm going, or hopefully where I'm
Mhm.
going. So that those were some of the catalysts, and I realized I can't do this on my own, and that's when I reached out for some support.
I love what you shared about like it was interesting to me when you talked about the person you met at the anthropology conference and how you were so curious and wanted to know more about that, but you had lost that curiosity for what it was that you were doing or that you had no fire for it. And I think that's a really good indicator for us to really pay attention to. Like, are we curious about the work that we're doing? Like, do we genuinely want to know more about how we can solve XYZ problem? And if we've lost that curiosity, that's something I think is so important, like in your case, to get curious about. And I also love what you shared about having a mirror. So, so, so important. And that you asked for help.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so important to have those people around us that we trust that can really mirror for us back what it is that we might really be wanting or needing,
Mm-hmm.
and not being afraid to ask for help when you feel like you're lost and you need support.
And the other thing is, I had just finally achieved the dream of having a child, and I thought,
Mm.
okay, isn't this enough? Isn't this enough?
Mm.
But talking to that anthropology person and watching Moana and actually being a speaker at this conference, real the combination of those things at that time, and then you add the pandemic later, which kind of obviously gave a lot of us some space to think and act and sort of see what was dormant, and um, it was this cauldron sort of like, I don't have to live my life stuck. I love my parents. I watched both of them be in jobs that they didn't really love for most of their careers. And
Mhm.
it's quite different today than it was 30, 40 years ago. It's very different. And there's so many opportunities. And um, businesses online and everything like that. And I thought, wait, I'm not gonna hate my job. That's just not gonna be my way of life.
That's so cool. Like you got really clear on your values, what was important to
Yes, and that's what I
you.
really help people with. That's one of the first things I help
Mhm.
people with is like when we're depressed, when we're anxious in our personal lives and our professional lives, our values are misaligned.
Mhm. Yeah.
And it
And
takes some really deep, like thoughtful excavating to be like, wait, I say it's this, I say it's prestige, but actually when I'm in front of a room, it's not when I'm in front of the wrong room, it doesn't feel right. So anyway, that's some of the value work that I do, deep value work with people, but not just for the sake of value, for 100% for application.
yeah, like so that you can align yourself with your values and make choices that align with them and getting clarity on. It's so true. It's interesting how much external validation can sometimes sway what we think that we need to be doing or what's the
Mhm.
right thing for us to be doing when really we just need to get kind of this clarity within ourselves and like kind of put all the noise aside, spend time with ourselves to really understand, no, what is it that really lights me up? What is my body telling me that why I really care about this? I love that. That's so important.
And let me share with the listeners, so that
Mhm.
this feels very action oriented, applicable to everyone. My coach encouraged me to think about what is the oxygen that I can't live without each day.
Mm. Such a great question. What is the oxygen I can't live without every day? Mm.
And for some people, it's music or it's art or it's uh, financial planning. Like that really jives them up. And it took me a long time to realize if I'm not connecting with somebody in an authentic, meaningful way, it really doesn't matter what I've done for the rest. I mean, that's really. And I said, well, how do I
Mhm.
monetize connecting with people? And it's like ding,
Mhm.
ding, ding. There's actually industries that this is a career. I just wasn't
Mhm.
in the right career, and now I feel very fortunate that I had so many other career experiences, because it's helping me build my network. It's helping me with a million things. Because I think
Mm.
that's another thing I talk about with people is that is people feel they really judge themselves for not being on a quote linear path
Yeah,
or what it's
totally.
supposed to look like, or right. Then we're kind of getting into
Totally.
the fear and the
I felt the same way.
competitiveness.
I've had quite a few pivots in my career. And the latest pivot that I made, I owned a marketing agency. I hated it. When I started the business, I didn't want it to be an agency. I wanted to just do fractional work. We turned into an agency by accident because we grew so quickly. And I woke up and I was just completely miserable. And I remember asking myself that same question, like, how, like, this is the path. This is what this is what it's successful. It's working. I'd be crazy to turn myself away from this. What am I thinking? You know, but my heart was just like yours. Like, I was like, I hate this. I just want to burn it all to the ground, you know? And some people will say, like, oh, she just couldn't hack it. Right. Like, there are people that, like, but that's not it. Like, it would have been
No.
hard for me to stay, but it was hard to leave, really hard to leave and let go of the security of it and the prestige and the reputation of it all. And to start over, like starting over is not easy. It's a lot of work.
Burning it to the
No.
ground is really, and I don't tell everybody they have to burn it to the ground because I help people figure out, are they going to pivot internally? Are they going to pivot
Yeah.
adjacently? Are they going to, right? Are we going to make tweaks? There are two things I want to say. One is I ask people, is the work that is the stress that you're experiencing a good hard or a bad hard right now?
Hmm.
And a good heart is like, I'm growing, it's challenging, but I'm alive from it. A bad heart is, I dread the day. I don't even want to check that kind of like what you were just describing about the marketing agency, where you
Hmm.
were almost like hiding under the covers from your own job that you're running.
Yes, pretty much.
And if you're hiding under the covers and listening to this, you don't have to, like
Yes. Oh, I can attest to that. It's like really great on the other side,
it
Rachel.
really
I'm like,
is.
why did I stress so much about this? I'm so much happier now and I'm so much more fulfilled.
Right?
Like,
But I call it a trapeze. You're like on one trapeze and you see another one, or you don't even sure what it is yet. But there's going to be a minute when you're free falling.
yes. Oh, that's such a great
And you have
metaphor.
to have a plan. Most of us, I don't,
Yeah.
there's like one podcast where it was like the therapist that helps you quit your job. And it's like, no, no, no. I help you figure out a plan for not hiding under the covers.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Or
sell as much.
handling the free fall, right? Like
And
that's going
handling the
to
free fall with a
inevitably
plan
happen.
and support and a timeline and a financial, we do a lot of financial planning so you can make a change, obviously. Um, and
Yeah,
the
because
other
you
thing
don't
I'll
want to let
say
go of that trapeze too soon.
that
Like,
you don't. And I think especially when we're unhappy, it's very, when Harry met Sally, I don't know the target audience age, but when you realize that you're unhappy, you want to get out of it as quickly as possible.
yeah,
But we don't want to make rash decisions either, because that's not going to help anybody. And so
exactly.
one of the things I also coach people on it, or I think about is I call it the 80% enjoyment rule. So even what you're doing right now, hopefully you love it more than the marketing, you like it more. It doesn't mean 100% of every single day, every
Yeah,
single moment you're going to love,
so true.
and you're going
It's
to have
gotta
some
be a
days
little
where
there's gotta be a little bit of suffering. It's like being a parent, you know? Like, it's beautiful and joyful, but there has to be some suffering because that's what bonds you to your child. Like
it's
there needs to be a little bit of it. Otherwise, it's too easy and nobody wants easy.
no, and also. I mean, I just watched Wicked 2 last night, but like, there's no light without the shadow. There's no like, there is
Oh,
all of that.
true.
We could get into all of that, but I really think that so many of us, myself included, are kind of like, oh my gosh, it looks 100% happiness from their social media. It looks 100% this, or let me take a major swing. And it's like, no, actually, let's think about. So one of my intake questions is I say, what percent happy are you where you are?
Mhm.
And people say, the average person, do you want to guess what they say when they come to me?
Ooh, I would say 30 to 40%.
Yeah, it's literally about 30% is
Wow.
the average, 20 to 40%. So 30 is like dead center.
Isn't that like why you're like if you look at it that way, why are we accepting that? You know? Like,
I
oh.
know why we're accepting it. We're scared,
Mhm.
money,
Mhm.
prestige. I mean, when I went to
Yeah.
I left the venture capital facing forward position to go to social work school, and I had literally had people come up to me like, "Are you well? Are you okay?"
Mhm.
Like, and I had to get I know you talked about this a little bit in our pre-call, but like, I had to get really comfortable with people's reactions to what I was doing because I felt so confident in it. But guess what? You put your head on your pillow at the end of the night, and if you're not, who cares what the other people think if you're not excited about it?
So
And
true.
they're busy putting their head on their pillow and thinking about their life, like you know.
It's so true. It's the more that we can give ourselves that our own internal validation and just show up for ourselves and really
Yeah,
trust ourselves.
yeah.
Like you have to really have such trust to be because that's gonna you're if anytime you make any decision, people have opinions about it.
Hmm.
There's gonna be people that are gonna disagree with you. And if you can't center yourself in what your truth is and what your values are and what then you're just going to continue to stay unmoored and lost and you're
Yeah,
never going to really ground yourself and make those tough decisions.
yeah, and it's really about the trust, the conviction, the confidence, and having a lot of systems in place. I mean, I think there are three. I love. There's a book called Meaningful Work, and I'll sometimes reference that there are three C's that contribute to meaningful work:
Hmm.
um, community, contribution, and challenge.
Yeah.
And so, for those that are listening, thinking about which of those three pillars, if you will, feels most on, most off. Are you connected with a community that you value, that lights you up, that inspires you? Um, are you feeling challenged in ways that, as we said earlier, kind of speak to your soul? It's a good heart. And are you contributing in a way that feels meaningful to you and to your skill sets?
I love that community contribution and challenge. So good. So, okay, one of the things you shared a little earlier that I just had a follow-up question is you talked about, emotional things that get in the way. what are some of the emotional things that get in the way that kind of like hold us back that you've seen from the women that you've coached?
I coach men too, by the way. I
No.
mean, I coach he, she, and they. But what are some of? It was just women to begin with, and then I had a few men reach out to me, and they said, "I'm stuck too. Is it okay if I work with you?" I was like, "Yes, yes. Come one, come all." And I'm sorry, but you're welcome. And I have a community that I work with, and I think the community really helps each other, truly, because you kind of think you're really alone when you're stuck, and you are not. You really are not. But it feels that way. It feels so isolating. So I think the emotional pieces that really get in the way are, I would say, sort of three-part. I think one is the fear, the what if, right? And that can take on so many different flavors. It has to do with our control, if we don't have a plan, or if we're letting go of things, the anxiety. I would say the second, what if fear around what people will think of you. We talked about our family. I would say the second emotional piece that really gets in the way is self-doubt in a way that is like really thinking about the consistency. So I think sometimes when people are stuck, they're like, well, I tried that before, it didn't work. Well, I tried it for 2 weeks, it didn't work. Right? So having that kind of fortitude, if you will,
Yeah.
to go through a hard place and come out the other side, right? I'm sure you didn't wake up from your marketing agency world and say, I hate this and I'm done. No, you did all this work to figure out, well, what am I going to do next? And where's my network? And how can I make money? And
Mhm.
you open a lot of, it's a lot. It can be a lot. And I think
Yes.
the last piece is sort of the people around you, the people who say, stay small, you're happy, it's fine. And it's like those people, nothing wrong with them, but they're not really in alignment with the moment you're in or what you're struggling with.
They're not you.
No.
They're, well, you know exactly what it is that you're dealing with. And that doesn't mean that you can't like take advice or input from other people. We need that. We need counsel
Yes.
from people that we trust. We need community to help us, but ultimately we're the filter. We can take all of that and then assess it and be like, okay, is this true for me in my situation? Do I need to follow this? Or.
Yep.
So yeah, no,
Yeah.
nobody's able to
I encourage
know
everybody
what
I
it is.
work with to create, we're all CEOs of our own lives and our own
Mhm,
careers. It sounds so cheesy, but it's so true. And just like
mhm,
any good company, they have boards of advisors. And so I encourage
mhm,
people, I have my own board of advisors that I email
mhm.
quarterly. Here's what I'm doing. And people I work with, I encourage them to have a board of advisors. It can be formal, it can be informal, but these are people in your life. I won't say even in your network, in your life that you respect professionally, that are doing something that feels, I call it a company crush or a professional crush, where you're like, oh, I like how they're
Mm.
branding themselves. I like how they're talking about themselves, branding, whatever. I like how they're carrying themselves. I like how they talk about their career. That's the energy you want to be around, because that's going to light you up.
Mm, I love that. What have you noticed most since you've worked with your own board of advisors? What's shifted for you?
The more specific you can be with what you need help and asking for
Mm,
help. So
mm,
I just sent out my quarterly update, and one of my advisors wrote back and said, great. You said I'm starting to think about doing some more in-house things at companies as well. What are 3 companies I can introduce you to right now? And I'm like,
mm.
thank you for asking that very specific question. Like that, the more specific, and this is for everyone. When you
Yeah,
say open to work on LinkedIn, or, hey, I need a new job, people are like, I need to know who you are, what you're good at.
yeah.
I help a lot of people on what I call as their professional mission statement,
Mm,
um, which we can talk more about. But what is their secret sauce? Because I think for so many people, it feels self-promotional. But on the other hand, if we think about it from a consumer perspective, you walk into a store, well, what do they sell here? Well, do they sell coffee? Do they sell, like, what's happening here? And
Yeah,
we all live in our own heads. So we
it's
need to
true.
explain to people what the offerings are.
You could look at it as self-promotion or you could look at it as value. I am
Yes.
providing value that somebody else needs. It's this great example. There's actually this famous public speaker in Australia. I can't remember her name,
Okay.
but she has this story that she tells, and it's incredible. She's at the gas pump and she goes to the gas pump. She fills it out. At the end, it asks if she wants to buy a Kit Kat bar for $2 more. And she buys a Kit Kat bar. She goes in and she talks to the gas station guy and she's like, how many people actually buy the Kit Kat bar? And he's like, well, you'd be surprised. This is how many people buy this every year. And she did the math and she realized that he was making hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars on Kit Kat bars because he asked the question. And she made this point,
Hmm.
obviously, like, that's a great upsell or whatever. But she's like, do you think the person walking away from the gas pump is like, oh my gosh, I got snowed. He made me buy that Kit Kat bar. No, they're like, I got a Kit Kat bar. So it's like, how can we shift from thinking like, oh, we're just promoting ourselves to like, I am providing something of value. Somebody might need this. I can help someone, you know?
And what that person did is I say this often, they shine the spotlight on the Kit Kat bar.
Yeah.
We have to shine the spotlight on like, hey, I got this cool thing here. Hey, I can help you do this cool
Mhm.
thing.
Yes.
Hey, I love storytelling.
Yes.
And
Yes. And getting clarity on what your Kit Kat bar is.
but
Everyone
I
has
love
one.
that clarity on what your Kit Kat bar is.
Yeah. Like what is it that maybe sometimes I think people don't, one of the things that can help them get over the fear is having complete clarity on what their Kit Kat bar is, you know?
Okay, this feels like a very appropriate moment because one of the things I work on with people is I say, "Who were you in childhood when like when you didn't when LinkedIn didn't matter and X, Y, and
Yeah.
Z and what are some stories that people would say about you?" And here is one about me, which is why the
Mm.
name of your show spoke to me. I was in a school play and my dad couldn't come because he had work. And
Mhm.
this is the story. I was in fourth grade. I called his office and I said, I'd like to speak to my dad's boss. This is like back in the day. This is the 90s. Okay. Pick up the phone, that whole thing. I'd like to
Rachel.
speak to my dad's boss. And they put me through. I knew my dad's secretary. She put me through to my dad's boss. And I said, I'm in a school play and I really want my dad to come. And he can't because he has work tonight.
Oh my gosh, that's such Moxie.
So my dad walks in and like the boss's boss is like, can I see you in my office? And he said, your daughter just called me and you've got to go home to her school play. And
Wow.
he said, I don't know anything about your daughter, but that girl has Moxie.
That's amazing.
That's
I
why when I saw the
love
name of your company
it.
and your show, I was like, so I still have that Moxie. Oh my gosh, so here I am, right? Like,
Oh, I love it. That's your Kit
thank you.
Kat bar.
That's my Kit Kat
Yes.
bar. And
So
then you got to do it
cool.
with the art of an adult.
So love it. Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Thank you.
Moxie is such
Thank
a
you.
cool word. Like it's like it has indigenous roots. So it was actually named after a river, or not the Algonquin tribe in Maine named a river the Moxie Stream. And they named it
Really?
that way because of it had dark, mysterious qualities. And so it was like known for its medicinal properties.
Oh, I
And
love
so
this.
eventually there was a local Mainer, like in the 1800s, who knew the lore of this stream. And he actually created a soda and he called it Moxie
Yes.
before Coca Cola. And it was like it was known for having a very bracing, bitter taste, right? But then it was also supposed to have this like medicinal quality to it, like drink Moxie for your health, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, that's how Moxie kind of entered the vernacular and like became the slang term for what we know it is today. But
I
it's just
love it. I did not know that. I live in Boston. I got married in Maine. I mean, I have a lot of Maine connection. Yeah.
wow.
So I didn't know that, but that makes, and
Isn't
I
that
love,
cool?
I have a land acknowledgement on my email signature. I mean, I say that because the more we can connect to the indigenous peoples, the better, in my opinion. And thank you for sharing
Mhm.
that. That really, um,
Yeah.
that's a beautiful thing to know. Thank you.
Yeah, it's just really, and it's fun too. Like when you think of Moxie, what does it mean to you, Rachel? When you think of the word Moxie, what words come to mind?
Well, definitely that story from childhood,
Yeah.
because that's like kind of been my brand. I think what comes to mind for me is someone who's not going to watch the grass grow underneath them. Almost a
Mm.
little bit of chutzpah type, if you know that Yiddish word,
Yes.
which basically means that kind of get up and go. I'm gonna
Mm.
make it happen on my own terms. And let's be honest, not everybody's gonna like that. It's gonna piss some people off. Some people are gonna be envious, annoyed, irritated,
Mhm.
and that's okay. That's okay too, because uh, if you're a person who is drawn to experiences that help you grow, that shape you, people, right? Like you are. I wasn't made for more, but you are kind of made for
Mhm.
growth in that way. Some people are like, "That's too much. It's too much in my face."
Mhm. Yeah, you're right. It's not for everyone. It's amazing to me. Everyone comes with a different definition, Rachel. I love
Mhm.
this idea of like, you're not going to let the grass grow underneath your feet. That's such a beautiful, beautiful imagery. And it's very clear that you operate that way. You've got lots of it, loads of it.
I do. I do. It's all about harnessing that and channeling it and
Yes.
being kind to yourself while you're doing it. And
Mhm.
um, right,
That's
I think
also part of it too. Like having Moxie is like kind of like almost not taking yourself too seriously and giving yourself some grace to be like, I'm just going to go for it because this is what I feel driven to do. And it's very like true to who you are, right? Like you're
hmm
just like, I'm just going to go for it. Whatever happens, let the chips fall, you know, but this is important to me. So I'm going to, prioritize it.
yes.
So, well, I'd love to shift gears a little bit and ask you, like, who is a woman in history that you really, really admire? And tell us about her. I'd love to know. And it doesn't have to be, who's a woman that you've always looked up to and admired in your life that you kind of aspire to be that maybe you have shared values with.
I told you I have thought about this one quite a bit, and
Mm.
my answer is going to surprise me.
It's going to surprise you even. That's awesome. That's a first.
Keeping myself on my toes, if nothing
Mhm.
else. No, I'm going to say my mom,
Love it. Love
and
it.
I say we have our own complicated relationship. I'll send this to her. It'll be fun.
Mm.
She is still with us, and so my mom is my mom is deaf,
Oh.
and she has some challenges moving through the world, and she has really carved her own path. She's really been a river, if you will, carving her own way. Like, I'm going to do my career this way. I'm going
Mm.
to do my social life this way. I'm going to exercise in this way. I'm going to scuba dive at the age of 72. I don't like really. Can I curse on this show?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Her give a shit what other people think factor is very low, which has its own
Mhm.
challenges as well.
Mhm.
But her give a shit about her own quality of life is very high,
Mm.
sometimes at odds with the other half. But it's very, so I would say she inspires me in a way to say, well, what if nobody was watching? Because that's basically how she lives her life. What would I do?
Mm.
What is going to fill me up? And to me, for me, I am, I'm inspired by people that take risks in general.
Mhm.
Because I think it's very, very easy. I know it. I mean, to not take risks, to kind of get in our heads and to be worried and the what ifs and all of that. So I really do respect women who take bold risks, and if it doesn't work out, they just dust themselves off and try again.
Mm. Amazing. Do you have a memory of your mom where that like stands out to you from your childhood where you saw this don't give a shit in action?
How much time do we have? Okay, so um, actually, I'll kind of use a more recent one, which is
Mhm.
my mom is a big planner of trips, and
Mhm.
she planned a trip to go tubing down the Delaware River,
Mhm.
and it organized all these people, only to find that it was like closed that day for over flooding. And she said, "Well, let's just go down the canal on the side instead." The canal was like literally almost like the sewer canal. I'm not kidding you. I know. I know. You can't make this stuff up. Stranger than fiction. Do I admire her? This is a very good example of like, she was not going to let the overflow of the Delaware water gap or whatever stop her from this trip she had organized.
How many people were on this trip?
14, including the woman I was dating, who's now my wife. I mean, it was.
That's amazing. Wouldn't it be nice? Like, oh, sometimes to have a little bit more of that. Yeah.
And, I will say, I don't think any of the 14 of us will ever forget that trip because there was a moment, I'm going to say it was about 2 minutes, where you were like, this is pleasant. Not most of it.
What did it smell like?
Um, it's salty? No, I don't know.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. And
So
how was she the whole time? Was she just like a bundle of energy? Like, just like, it is what it is?
yeah,
Not
literally, she was
stressed?
like, the Delaware water gap isn't going. We're going to go over here. And that's just her fierceness and her determination. And I
Mm.
do really think, especially now that I'm working for myself and I am
Mhm.
supporting other people, it's like what does the Buddha say? You fall down 7 times, get up 8, like that kind of thing. And I really do see that, um,
Mm.
that tenacity from her.
Yeah, that you've kind of like, it's important for us to see that so that we can realize, hey, we can do it too. You know, if she can do it, okay, we can go down this canal in the Delaware and everything's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. It's going to work out. These
I
people are,
bet you won't forget the story. This is like my
yeah,
Kit Kat story here.
I will never forget this. Yeah, and I'm sure the people on that trip will never forget it, and they're not going to like. It's not like they're probably still very close with her. It didn't ruin the relationship with them at all. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like
Yep.
sometimes we're so afraid to maybe take the risk because how's it going to impact the people around us and our relationship? But
Mm-hmm.
if we're really like just grounded in ourselves, like your mom is, like
Mm-hmm.
it's okay. It's all going to
Yeah.
be okay. It's all going to
It
work
really
out.
surprised me telling you this story because we've had this bumpy relationship over the years, and
Mm.
pun intended, I suppose, for the rafting or something. But it was. I'm very mindful, especially as I get older, of seeing just anybody for who they are, not for who they're not, as much as we can.
So important. And isn't it like, don't we all have bumpy relationships with our moms? I mean, it's such a,
You know.
like there's, what is it
Mm-hmm.
about the mom daughter relationship? It's never easy.
I
It-
know. I know. I have a
yeah.
3-year-old daughter. I'm like, can this be easy?
I know. It kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier about like, it has to be a little bit hard,
It does.
like
It does.
it
It
can't
really
always,
does.
it's just, we need that dark shadow, right?
Yeah,
Like
we
we
do.
do. But what a beautiful experience.
Thank you.
Mm,
Thank you. So,
beautiful.
what just it as we I know we're moving
Yeah,
along. I mean, what
yeah.
are some takeaways from that story? Like, no matter what your day throws at you, you got something else to throw back at it, myself included.
Mm, I love that. So beautiful. Well, this has been such an amazing conversation, Rachel. I've loved having you on the show. You have made me laugh so hard, which was not expected. So thank you for that. You started off my Monday after the New Year's with like buckets of laughter. So I
Thank
feel
you
so
so
much
much.
lighter for our
That's the
conversation.
best medicine there is. Let's be honest, for anything.
Yes. And I just love the work you're doing. I'd love for our listeners. I mean, there's just so much that came from this conversation. But one of the things that really stood out to me is what is the oxygen that I can't live without? And asking yourselves that question. When you think about your day, what is it that you do that is the oxygen that you can't live without? And getting real clear on that, I think, is such a great invitation, Rachel, that you shared. And I loved also what you shared about the importance of community, contribution, and challenge, and really asking yourself, like, who's my community? What can I contribute? And how can I be challenged? Was just really wonderful. So as we close out our episode, I'd love for you to share, Rachel, is there anything that you'd like to share with our listeners, how they can connect with you? Do you have any programs or anything that they can, sheesh, I'm losing my words, but you know what I mean? Like, how can they connect with you?
I do know what you mean. I do. So yes, I have a website, and I have a program where it's a mutual matching program where we figure out, am I the right fit for you? Are you the right fit for me? Can I be of service to you and what you're moving through? And I strategically take on a few people every few months to help them get from unstuck, soul drained, soul aligned work. We go really deep and we get really practical, and everything I do is results oriented. And so my website is madeformorecoach.com. And I have a training there. You can set up a call with me, and I'll put my LinkedIn in the show notes as well, because I post a lot of resources on LinkedIn as well. Just kind of checklists for getting a little more unstuck. What does burnout look like? What is, going deeper into all of these topics.
Amazing. Can't wait. Oh my gosh. It's going to be a treasure trove, guys. I can't wait for it all. And Rachel, thank you so much. It's been such a joy. And until next time, say hello, Moxie.
Thanks for listening to the Hello Moxie podcast. If today's story sparks something in you, share it with another woman who's ready to rise. Learn more about our community by visiting hellomoxie.us and discover how the Moxie method can help you reclaim your voice and lead with impact. See you next time.